Well, hello, welcome to Mr. Paul's Pantry. I'm Mr. Paul, and it's nice to see you all here again. If you're a new visitor, a very warm welcome. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, the way to do it is go underneath, look for this red button, click on it, and when the bell appears, press that as well, and YouTube will inform you every time I put up a new video, so you won't miss one. Okay? It's as simple as that. Now today's recipe is for a pasta dish, and I've had many requests for something like this. Not exactly this, but something similar, something made in one pan. Because when you make a pasta dish, normally you have to cook the pasta separately and then do something else in another pan to make the sauce, etc. Well, this is Mr. Paul's one pan pasta dish, and it is a meat-free dish, by the way, but you can add meat if you want to at the end of the recipe. It's not a problem. But I use it as one of my meat-free days, which I try to do at least once a week. So here it is, Mr. Paul's one pan pasta, and let's do it. So here we are with this one pot spaghetti or one pot pasta dish. Now you can use spaghetti if you want, you can use any other pasta. I'm going to use spaghetti today. But the beauty of it is, it's all done in one pan, no more washing up. You don't have a pan for the pasta, a pan for the sauce. It all goes in together, and it really is an exciting little dish. You can have it actually from pan to table in about 10 minutes, which is very good. There's a little bit of chopping, but not much at all. I'll show you what the ingredients are. And here we have some cherry tomatoes, which will be cut in half, by the way. Just in half. If you've got bigger tomatoes, just cut them a bit smaller. I've got one onion, a medium-sized onion. I've got some garlic. I've got a bit of Parmesan cheese. I've got some baby spinach leaves and some spaghetti. Now, as far as the herbs are concerned, I'm going to use some fresh thyme from my garden, and because my basil, here it is, you can see it, because it's very small, I've only just seeded them a few weeks ago, and they're not much at all, so I'm going to keep that for garnish, but in the actual dish I'm going to use a little of this dried basil. Okay, but you can use dried if you haven't got fresh. I prefer fresh, but I'm going to keep that fresh just to garnish it just before I serve it. Here they are again, very quickly. Tomatoes, I'm using cherry ones. If you've got bigger ones, cut them smaller. I'm going to cut these in half. One onion, some garlic, some cheese, some herbs, and some baby spinach leaves, and some spaghetti. And that's it. You can add stock to this at the end of it, but I'm going to just use water, so it's a completely vegetarian thing if you don't want to use chicken stock. Okay, if you want to use a vegetable stock, by all means, but it's quite all right without any stock, just using water. Okay, well there's the ingredients. Let's get on with it. Now I've sliced the onions quite thinly, as you can see. I've got the tomatoes all cut in half. I've just got to do the garlic, and that needs also slicing very thinly. If we make sure everything's sliced thinly, then we make sure everything is cooked in the short, because it's a short cooking time, remember. This is only about 9 or 10 minutes in the pan. So we need to make sure the garlic and everything is sliced thinly. There's just the end bit I'll just chop up like that. And as you can probably see, I've got the onions there sliced very thinly indeed, and the tomatoes in half. So we've got everything sliced and chopped and ready to go. Got the pan here, and now we'll start to put it all in and assemble it all. And remember, it's a very quick meal, so make sure you've got everything ready to go before you start, because remember, once it's in here, you've got 9 or 10 minutes, and then it's onto the table. Right? So the first thing we're going to do here is put in the spaghetti. Just lay the spaghetti in there, like this, in the middle. And then the rest of it we're going to assemble round. So we're going to put some of the onions here and over here. Just spread them around a little bit. There we go. Now, if you're using a chili in this, this should be chopped up and going in now with the garlic. I'm not using it, just put the garlic in. There we are. I'm not using a chili for the simple reason I can't get any. Buying red chilies here where I live is very, very difficult. The Spaniards don't use them a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle 1 or 2 chili flakes on there. Very, very few. Just to give it a nice little lift. Next into the pan is going to go the tomatoes. So they're going into here. Now if you notice, I've got different coloured tomatoes. Some are yellow, some you can buy yellow ones as well. I just bought what was available at the time. I'm very lucky here in Spain. We do have some beautiful tomatoes and usually plenty of them. Okay, so that's all like that. Now we're going to have a little olive oil. That's going to go in. About a couple of tablespoons, that's all. Extra virgin if you want, or just use ordinary olive oil, it makes no difference. And then we're going to put in the herbs. Now I've got my sprig of thyme here, as you can see. I'm just going to lay that in there. I can pick the stalks out afterwards, I don't worry about that. And I'm leaving this basil until later, so I'm going to put in a small amount of dried basil, just to give it a little lift, because this is the real Italian type flavour. I'm not saying this is an Italian dish, by the way. They'll crucify me for making a dish like this, but it's very, very simple, very nice and very acceptable. Next goes in the water. You can use stock if you want. I'm using water. There we go. And we'll put the heat on. And just wait until that comes up to the boil now. And as soon as it comes up to the boil, we mustn't walk away and leave it, because it's only got 9 or 10 minutes, as I said, from once it's boiling. So we need to be at it all the time with our tongs, making sure it's all on the move so it all gets cooked in the same time. I'll be back as soon as that starts boiling. Now, if you have a look in the pan here, you can see it's just starting to come up to the boil. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some seasoning at this stage. Now, be careful with the salt, because don't forget, we will be putting in some cheese at the end. So there's a little salt going in. And a good seasoning of black pepper. We might need to adjust the pepper later. Now it's coming up to the boil, we're going to pop in the spinach leaves. There we go. And we need to push that down now and keep moving it around to make sure everything cooks at the same time. Remember, don't walk away from it, because it might burn or it might boil dry or something like that. You forget about it, then the whole thing is ruined. So just keep moving it around until everything is nicely cooked together. The smell coming from it at the moment is absolutely delicious, because I can smell the thyme and the basil mixing with the onions, and it really is making my mouth water. So we just keep going round. Right, we're at the almost 9-minute mark now, and it's beautiful. The sauce is forming round all that, And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grate in my Parmesan. And that's, if you have some already grated, that's quite all right. I just have this bit left that I want to use up. So this will give it a nice, rich, creamy, cheesy finish. Really nice. There we are. Give that a stir in. Turn the heat off now. Everything's cooked through. It really looks delicious. And then all that's left now to do is to serve it. So we're going to serve some of this on here like this. Whoops. In you go. And I'll have a taste and see what it's like. Here we are. That's absolutely beautiful. Excuse me. I never took out the thyme stalk. There it is. Anyway, I'm going to have another taste of that because that really is nice. Very hot, of course. But I think it really is a lovely dish. A lovely quick meal. And I hope you have a go at making it. Well, that's all I have time for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Go underneath, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media if you like it. If you have any comments, questions or suggestions, as usual, leave them underneath. I do read every single one and it helps me for future videos. Now, if you haven't subscribed, there's a little subscribe button underneath like this. If you press that or click on it, a little bell will appear at the side, and if you click on that also, YouTube will tell you every time I post a new video, so you won't miss one. Anyway, it's time for me to go now, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And it's Mr. Paul saying bye for now, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!